Many new gardeners are drawn to square-foot gardening for its simplicity and order. You build a raised bed, divide it into a grid, and follow a chart for plant placement. It promises a tidy, manageable garden, perfect for small spaces. The appeal is clear, less guesswork, more structure, and a clean look. For beginners, it's a reassuring map that makes gardening feel less intimidating, but the method's greatest strength, its simplicity, can also be its biggest flaw. Square-foot gardening focuses on plant spacing, but often overlooks soil health. You can have perfectly spaced plants, but if the soil is lifeless, your harvest will suffer. The real secret to a productive garden isn't just in the layout above ground, it's in the living, breathing ecosystem below the surface. The system is a great introduction to plant spacing and maximizing small spaces. Raised beds are easier to manage, especially for those with mobility issues. But the neatness of the grid can distract from what truly matters, the life in your soil. Gardening success isn't about perfect measurements, it's about healthy, living soil. Don't let the tidy grid fool you into thinking spacing is all that matters. I once set up a perfect square-foot garden following every rule. The seedlings looked great at first, and I was proud of the orderliness. But soon, the plants stalled, lettuce turned yellow, radishes were tiny and tough. I had done everything by the book: correct spacing, regular watering, plenty of sun. The problem wasn't the layout, it was the soil. I'd used bagged topsoil that looked fine but lacked life and nutrients. No amount of perfect spacing could make up for poor soil quality. That was a turning point for me. I realized a garden isn't a sterile grid, it's a living ecosystem. Healthy plants need healthy roots, and that starts with rich, living soil. The neat squares were a distraction from the real issue. My plants weren't failing because of spacing, they were failing because their home was empty of life. This experience changed my perspective on what really matters in gardening. The most important work happens below the surface. Focus on the soil, not just the grid. After that lesson, I shifted to a soil-first approach. I started building my beds with layers of organic matter, especially compost. Good compost is packed with nutrients and beneficial microbes. Each year, I add a thick layer on top and let worms do the mixing. I also use worm castings and mulch, like shredded leaves or straw, to feed the soil and retain moisture. Mulch suppresses weeds and adds more organic matter as it breaks down. This no-dig soil feeding method creates a cycle of fertility. With rich soil, I let plant health, not charts, guide my spacing. I use companion planting, carrots with leeks, lettuce among tomatoes. Fertile soil lets plants grow closer together, creating a dense, thriving canopy. The garden looks wild, but it's more productive and alive than any grid. Plants work together, sharing resources in abundance. The richness of the soil allows for intensive planting without competition. This method feels natural, intuitive, and yields better results. The focus shifts from isolating plants to building a cooperative living system. The results of a soil-first approach were immediate. My greens grew larger and more vibrant, and I harvested more often. Plants were stronger, healthier, and less prone to pests. Root crops like carrots and beets thrived in the loose, compost-rich soil. The quality and quantity of my harvest soared. The old grid left wasted space, now every inch is productive. Square-foot gardening is a good starting point, but it misses the key soil biology. Abundant gardens are built on living soil, not just tidy layouts. Feed your soil with compost and mulch and let its health guide your planting. Try adding compost this season instead of just following a chart. Compare the results. You'll see the difference. The secret to a great harvest is in the richness of your soil, not the neatness of your squares. Healthy soil grows healthy plants, and your garden will reward you. Let your soil, not a grid, be your guide.